In the last video, I gave you guys the biggest tease ever. We put this full turbo kit on this 1G powered Altezza or IS200, wherever you live in the world. These cars have a few different names. But that aside, we put it on, but we couldn't start it for the first time because we needed to wait for the RTV to cure on the oil pan, and we definitely didn't want oil leaking everywhere and having to redo that job. So it's been a full 24 hours. We've buttoned things up. It's time to let you guys hear this thing for the first time. We've got Daiki and Riley here. Do you guys think it's gonna sound good?
I mean, if it's anything like my car, yeah.
Yeah, because
wait, you've got an exhaust though.
We have an exhaust.
Ooh.
Like it's a little louder. You have an exhaust too, but it's just a silent stock one.
Yeah, mine's stock, but you have like one of the high flow ones.
Kind of, yeah. Do you think it's gonna sound good? 1G power?
1G power.
Also, yeah. Daiki, I can't help but notice you have some pink marker under your eyelid, I think. Let's start her up. All right, here we go. Sounds kind of nice. We leaking? We good?
A little.
Oh, that's fine. That's just the oil drain. That's the oil drain. The drain, okay. All right, are we ready? That sounds good.
It's very familiar, but...
Dude, this thing's gonna rip! Oh my gosh. And it's manual. We've never had one of these
true.
manual before. Oh my god. Okay. Daiki, come look at this. All the rust just blew out of the exhaust. Look at these chunks of rust from the old muffler that was on this thing. Oh my gosh. All of that blew out. That's kind of nice. But no smoke.
Yeah, true.
No smoke.
True.
She's all good. She's fixed. She just needed to run a bit, get all that carbon and weird stuff off.
All the ants out of the engine.
Yeah, all the ants out of the engine. I've got to say, pretty impressed with how this thing sounds right now. It's going to sound a lot better when we have an intake pipe on the turbo and you can really get that kind of doo-doo-doo sound going on. It's definitely good to have a dose pipe. I've got an actuator on here and everything. It's pretty much good to go for 0.5 bar, but we definitely want this thing to be making 0.8, right on that line. We want this thing to be somewhat, you know, comparable to the other cars at Ebisu. We want to be able to spin some tires. I'm probably going to run 17s all round on this, I think, but we'll see. We'll see what it's like. We'll go from there. And for boost control, I think initially I'm just going to do a boost T. Super simple, just a bleed off T valve. We'll put that in there in between the actuator and the boost hose here. But otherwise, everything is all fitted. We're not touching or changing any of the piping or anything like that. It's all gone together really smooth. Very happy with how this has all turned out, honestly. That aside though, we do still have a fair bit of work that we need to do. We're still waiting on front arms and knuckles to come from Serial 9 in Canada. They should be arriving sometime this week though, so we'll have the front end together and the car back on the ground and driving and moving. There's been a lot of work that we've done on this now, and I'm sick and tired of seeing it on the lift, so I'm very excited to see this thing come down on the ground. But let me give you some update on some other stuff that we've done. First of all, look at that nice, shiny, refurbished rack. And we put Serial 9 bushes in here as well. So that's all good. That is the rack that actually came out of the ProGrade that we parted out. They're identical, so it worked really well. No leak here. Ooh, this is leaky. Oh, that's because that drain bung is still loose. There's a little leak coming out of there. We're gonna tighten that so that doesn't cause us problems. Otherwise though, everything's pretty much good to go. We just need to do one very big important thing, which is what's in this box. Oh, and this too needs to get done too. We need to do the fuel upgrades. Everything on the floor in front of me is everything we'd like to get done today. And it's a fair bit. We've got to wire in our fuel cut defender, which is just a little box with some wires that we've got to wire into the ECU. Super easy, but the main stuff that we need to do as well is we've got new injectors to install, a return fuel system that we need to put in because these don't have a return system. They have just a single deadhead design which sends it to the front. We have to install our new flywheel and clutch, which by the way, this is a 3S GTE clutch out of the GT4 Celicas. Super cool and unique. And it's kind of interesting that that's what's, what we're putting on the car, I feel like. Simply because I would not expect that. Now, we're just going with the stock turbo, Exceedi organic clutch. And it was purely just because this is cheap and this is all this car needs power-wise. I could go and put a much, nicer, more expensive clutch on there, but I don't want to blow up this transmission, and this is all we need. We're not making like 400 or 500 horsepower. So it's just a simple, heavy-duty, organic clutch setup. It's just the normal, sports upgrade version of the stock clutch. That's it, nothing too crazy. And it's super cheap because we're not getting like a throwout bearing or anything with it. We're just getting the pressure plate and the disc for a 3S GT. The splines match up with our transmission. We're bolting that onto this flywheel and then we're all good to go. Super straightforward. I'm actually really excited to see how this is gonna feel because these cars are notorious for having clutch issues. Their flywheel's a dual mass one. It breaks and it causes like all these weird issues, and it's not a direct feel kind of thing. You can't do clutch kicks properly. So this is fixing all of that. So here's how we're gonna tag team this. Daiki, you're on injectors and regulator. I'm on fuel tank, fuel pump, and running the line, okay? Let's do it. The first thing I need to do is make sure we get a fuel pump. Luckily, we work with Dishworks, and they have the exact pump that fits in these little fuel hats perfectly. It's a very unique kind of fuel hat system. You'll see when we get it out. It's very brittle, it's plastic, you gotta be careful, but it's got one of these pumps that looks like a normal frame, like any kind of normal fuel pump, like a 200 liter per hour or 300, 400 liter per hour pump, but it's actually a little bit shorter. And if you don't get one of the Dishworks 430 compact pumps, it's not gonna fit. Luckily, it's actually pretty easy to get to the top of these fuel tanks. And to get this fuel hat out is actually pretty nice. As long as nothing's corroded, you can get these things out. And just be careful with the little clip for the fuel line. This little guy. Pull that out, splash a little bit, zap these 8 mils out, and there we go. Now you want to be a little careful. You're going to have the little Ventrini guy here on the side. You're just going to have to undo that hose. And that's because there's 2 sections in this tank, kind of like an E36 or an E46 tank. You've got this little Ventrini thing here that helps pull fuel from that side while it's running and everything. But you should be able to just kind of squeeze the clamp with your fingers. And it should come down. Pop that off like that. Be careful, bring it out at an angle for the fuel level sender. Put that straight into your container so you don't drip fuel everywhere. Now let's go outside, get away from these fumes, and start disassembling this. So, I've gone and disassembled all of these. I had a spare one of these from the original tank that was rusted out that we replaced, and turns out the tank that I got is a Zenki one, and it has a little bit different internals than the Koki one that came initially with this car. So I'm sitting here and I'm like, I don't really know what to do. But for the most part, it just seems like they upgraded a few things. So I'm just gonna use the one that came in the car and hope everything's all good. For the most part, it is the same thing. It's just this is integrated into the cage and the plastic is, and this is kind of like 2 pieces here. That's kind of interesting. But anyways, that aside, I know what I'm doing. We need to put this little guy in here, which looks a little sus. That's gonna go in there and block the this little guy, which is a regulator, essentially. And we're gonna take that off there, and then that's gonna get connected to a return line up the top. And fuel's gonna come in through the return and then through this, which is the Ventrini thing that pulls fuel from the other side of the tank at the same time as the fuel comes back in. This is essentially a fuel regulator that is keeping the pressure going to the front of the car at a certain pressure, and then anything that's returning past that, once it reaches that pressure, is going into the Ventrini and doing the same thing. So we're just bypassing this, putting this little bung, I guess we'll call it a bung. Looks like something you could buy somewhere. And then that'll slot in there and stop this from spewing out fuel where it shouldn't anymore, because we're not using that, right? We're not gonna be using this anymore. And that's just gonna go in there, block it so nothing can come through, and then should be good. That really does look like something else that's meant to block something, doesn't it? This is what I was talking about with these fuel pumps. Now the body of the pump seems quite long here, but if you compare this to any of the like standard 200 liter per hour or 345, 360, like 420 liter per hour pumps, they're actually a little too long. The main thing you want to look at with these 2 pumps is the plug, and the top of the outlet here needs to be the same length, and these are identical, just the body's a little shorter on this one compared to that one, but the plugs and everything all line up perfectly. It's awesome. And this flows at over 430 liters per hour, which is insane in this form factor. We've gone and followed the instructions for adding the return line bung, drilled the hole in the correct spot. It's got an O-ring recessed in there, but I always like to put some fuel resistant RTV, not normal RTV, has to be the fuel resistant kind. Whenever you're modifying any kind of stock fuel hat, you should always use fuel resistant RTV on the inside and the out. It's just a good idea. So now that I've got that there, I'm gonna put some more on the inside, and then I can screw the nut on, and then we're done with the fuel hat modification. We are now finished with our modifications. Our return line comes up here through the Ventrini and then dumps out there. We do have to connect the Ventrini hose onto here though, that pulls it from the other side of the tank. So you wanna do that before you drop this in. Just kinda slide that on. There it is. She's on. And then we just gotta slide this in, tuck it in. It's a little bit of a tight fit, the return line, but it all goes in nice. All right. Now that's usually around about there. This plate goes on like that. Line up the holes, put the bolts back in. I finished with the fuel hat. We still need to run the return line. Daiki is actually finished with all of the injectors, but a really frustrating thing is this has the Koki version throttle body. If you come have a look at Ryland's actually, his is really nice because he has an entirely different throttle body than mine. It's the simple one that just opens and closes. There's no kind of, what's it called? Traction control. This is actually similar to the same one that they used to put on the Mark IV Supras, but this, when the cable's pulled, look, doesn't even move the throttle body. It's only that last like 10% that opens it, which absolutely sucks. So to fix that, what we want to do is make it so that when the cable pulls on this, it actually opens the whole throttle body, and we need to leave these unplugged and disabled. This is like the pedal sensor, and then this is the motor here, this plug, that then operates the throttle body. We're not going to use any of those won't be plugged in, and we're going to lock this shaft so it's locked to this, so it opens it at the same time. I'm going to show you guys how that works. All you're going to need is a 12mm socket and an impact or a wrench and a washer, and then we're just going to nuke this off. Mine's a bit rusty, so it's a little sad. Take that washer off, that. Then we're gonna wanna work with this to slide this shaft off. It's a little tricky sometimes, but should, if we can get this to come, just pop off this little plate, this front plate, which is the one that doesn't do anything. See how it's just freely moving, but the shaft doesn't move at all? We just want to, like so, right? Now this just comes off freely, yeah? So we got this off. Now all we're gonna do is add our big fat washer that we have here. It's a couple mil, which is just gonna clamp them together pretty much when we tighten it. And then that way, it'll all actually rotate, because this is literally just an open flange. So we'll put that back on there. We'll tighten that down. Now, when this moves, it moves the whole throttle body together. Look, just because we added that spacer washer in there, kind of just presses them together and tightens against each other. Now the next thing that we have to do is disconnect these springs here, otherwise this will actually cause the, what do you call it? The car to like stall easily and stuff like that. So you just want to kind of get them up here, move that down a little, and then slide them over so they're like just completely disengaged. We don't need this messing around at all. You can just cut this, but if for ever any reason I need it to go back to OEM, it's good to just, you know, have that ready, good to go. We'll slot these off here too, just so they're freely sitting here, not doing anything. Just like that. So it's no longer doing anything. It's not affecting this whatsoever. Perfect. Now all we gotta do is when this goes back in the car, we just don't plug these in. We leave them unplugged, because if these are plugged in, then it'll start stalling and doing weird stuff. But now we've actually gained a ton of throttle response, and we've got full throttle control, just like a normal throttle body, which is what we want. That's what we need. This thing probably, actually, like when I was revving it before, it was super like just felt laggy and slow and not responsive. And Riley's car actually has the Zenki throttle body as well, which doesn't have any of this weird drive-by-wire stuff going on. So just a quick, simple throttle body mod. A lot of guys do this in the UK. There's tons of videos of it online. Now you may need to adjust your idle set screw here, just so that it idles a little higher. If for some reason you're running AC and stuff like that, you're gonna end up with it, struggling to idle in cold situations and stuff like that. So it's just a bit of a good idea to raise your idle. But for the most part, it's done. We're good. So I'm gonna clean this all out. There's a bit of gunk in here in the throttle body, and then we'll assemble everything, put it back together. We're now finished with the throttle body, which means all we gotta do before we can start this thing again is run our return fuel line. Luckily, it's really easy on these things. I like to start at the back here, just so that I can feed it from here, connect it up, and then we're good to go. But I'll show you guys really quickly. You just kind of want to follow where the OEM fuel line is right here. And you can kind of just see, tuck it in there, and then you get under the car. You can kind of just do the good old reach around here, so you feel it, and then just pull it through. Running the return line on these is just so easy, and then it's just a bunch of zip ties all the way to the front. So I pull it all the way through. I like this fate. Just a bit of pop slide on that really helps it slide in. There we go. Slide it on. And the good thing is because this is a return line, it's not pressurized, so we're good. Return lines usually just flow. Tighten that. Nice. And then I can plug our fuel pump back in. And now, pull it all the way. Bit of fuel hose. It's nice. And that goes on there. Tighten that. And we are now a return fuel system on this. Such a good kit. It all comes with the rank 1 turbo kit for these. Highly recommend it. It's such a good kit because you can utilize the stock ECU, like I said. It's honestly awesome. And even if you did want to upgrade to a plug-in link or something like that, you can as well. You can actually use the 3SGE plug-in link and switch over a couple of the pins and it'll bolt straight in and you can work and use it with the 1GFE. So that's probably what we'll end up doing in the future. But for now, I just wanted to test if this works. I just got to hook up the vacuum line now, which is we got a little T4, and I just got to run this little vacuum hose and tee it in under the throttle body. Otherwise, that's it. We've got our modified throttle body, all of that. Next clip will be this thing running, and it should sound a little bit more responsive too on throttle. Finished tidying everything up. Let's give her a run. The fans are hitting on something.
A few moments later.
Oh, there we go. Fuel pressure. All right, let's see. Seems angry at us, but I know we got to adjust that idle screw. Are all the injectors okay? see it wants to die, so we're gonna adjust that idle screw a bit. Way better, way more responsive, actually acting on the throttle, not lazy and slow. That throttle mod is a game changer, eh? The only thing left to do is wire the fuel cut defender in, which I'll probably do in the morning, but we just pretty much tap it to a few wires here, put that in, and that just tells it when it sees boost to not freak out and panic and go into limp mode. That's it. Dude, I'm stoked. This is gonna be awesome. Dude, it sounds good. It sounds really good. I'm gonna adjust that idle screw, and then I reckon we'll be good. Now that this is way more responsive with the throttle, I figured I'd try and make a little dose pipe. I've got this little 45 here that actually came off the Skyline. I'm just gonna sit it there like that. It's pretty much the perfect pipe for here too. But let's just see if we get a bit of dose sound now. Not much. Not as good as I was hoping for it. What if we flip it the other way? Like that. I think we gotta load it up more, make more boost. A bit of brake load maybe? Don't do this at home, this is stupid. We're not going to be able to hear this thing dose until we actually put some load on it. But the good news is that it's actually working as it should now, and the throttle works great. And we can actually see all the heat stuff burning off it now because it's actually making some decent heat. But I think I might just repurpose this Type 45 that used to be on my Skyline, because that'll work pretty well there, I think, just like that. It's a little, and a pop filter there. Done. Ah, man. This car's gonna be so much fun. It sucks we didn't get to the clutch today. I was really hoping I would have enough time to get to the clutch, but ADHD things, you start your day and you're like, I wanna get this done, this done, this done, this done, this done, and let's build a comp car at the same time, and let's go drive to the north of Japan and back all in one day. That's literally how every single one of my days start, but obviously that's not possible, is it? There's not much left on this thing. I just got to wire in this little guy, and then, you know, intake pipe. We'll do the clutch and transmission stuff. That's going to be fun. Daiki will probably have to start working on that tomorrow. But otherwise, we're just waiting on the Serial 9 stuff to arrive, and then this thing's moving. And then we can I've got a new rear glass, so we got to, you know, work with a hammer a little bit, bash that thing out into shape. We'll glue in some real glass, like $60 for a whole new rear windscreen, or I don't know what that's called, but rear glass. Then this thing's sealed up and is ready to go to Ebisu at that point. The only other thing is it needs a bit more hammer work in the rear and maybe some pulling with a big ratchet strap off the truck, just to like get the rear kind of back into shape. But otherwise, this thing's ready to go to Ebisu and start trying to see if it'll shred. Oh, we need seats in a cage first too. I almost forgot. That's already on its way, so we should have that soon too, and then this thing will be good to go. Just a bolt-in cage. We actually just got the cage for Riley's, and we finished putting this in, and it looks really good. Just a simple in front of the dash cage. Should be really good. I keep telling him he needs to get a dash because this is just silly, but I don't know, he's being ignorant, so we'll just wait. Trust me, in like a month's time, he's gonna be like, yeah, I really should buy a dash, and I'm like, told you so. But yeah, cage is in, harness bar, doing the same thing. Just Safety over anything. This car is gonna be all about throttle work. I cannot wait to take this to Higashi and try to do like something stupid like 180, 200 Ks an hour entry in this thing. I don't know if it'll do it. There's a good chance it might, because the lower the power, more grip up that hill, because that is the biggest thing with like high horsepower cars, is trying to get faster up that hill. So it'll be kind of fun to just, yeah, full send, 17s all around, I reckon. And I think this thing's gonna be great fun. Anyways, that's it for today's video, guys. A lot of wrenching, a lot of getting work done. This thing has come a long freaking way, and I cannot wait to see what this thing's gonna yield result-wise at the track, especially at Ebisu. Now the snow's already gone. Today was like 22 degrees Celsius. I don't know what is happening. Sakura is already blooming, so if you bought your tickets for May, hoping for Sakura season, it's over. It's already happening now. It's kind of ridiculous. But then the other side of Japan got the most snow it's ever had in 30 years and is in a complete blizzard. So I don't get it. This side of Japan is just warm and nice and like springtime, summertime again. It's odd. Anyways, guys, like, comment, share, subscribe. Hope you're all being safe out there. I know the weather's crazy everywhere. Go check out the latest merch. Also, go check out Oka-chan's new hoodies. They're pretty cool. And he just also dropped and released the FIA 6-point harnesses if you want to grab those at yashirfactory.co.jp. See you next one. Peace.